Hey everyone, and welcome back. Time for October's ScrawlrBox. So excited. So the candy is a menthol eucalyptus. Very seasonal in that it's cold and a lot of coughing going on. So that's really good for your throat. That's more of a helpful candy than a candy this month. So on to the main course, the supplies. We got our cute little sticker. We got our little index, challenge this month is wash ashore, and the theme is a life aquatic. Interesting. So we have a little box of art pencils, and then, the Staedtler Tradition HB pencil with eraser. That's a cute little color scheme, standard pencil. And then something really interesting, the Sakura Koi color brush pen blender. This is gonna be fun to do. It's water based, and it's just like a nice little soft nib, clear. Next we have the Derwent lightfast pencils. These are oil based color pencils that are supposed to last 100 years. They come in we got 6 colors right here. A nice little wooden round base, really nice. And these color pencils are really, beach colored, going with the whole thing. We got a lot of the sand shades here and some blues. Let's see. Get them all nice and together. So we got a yellow orchid, a mid ultramarine, midnight black, sandstone, and champagne. The last one is called wheat, and these are a very beach themed colors. And then it comes with just a little Derwent pastel pencil sharpener. And then this month's featured artist is Judith. Selcuk. No idea if I said that right. But she made this really beautiful illustration with the color pencils. At least it looks like she used the colors. And we got 2 different tones of paper this month. The Hahnemuhle Bugra Butten A5 paper. So let's get started. So the paper has a bit of a texture to it, and I swatched out all the colors, tested out some blending, kind of with the theme. I kind of mushed them together and decided I wanted to do like kind of a mermaid. And when I tried out the blending pen, I saw that it stained it, but it wouldn't, it would pick it up, but it wouldn't hold on to it for very long. And I decided to start off with the white paper because I wanted to see what it was like using the different tone papers, because with color pencils there is a lot of patience that goes into it. You have to build up layers, you have to try to blend layers, and I'm not very patient. I'm a very impatient artist. I want to create now. But it has been a little while since I've used color pencils, and these color pencils are oil based, which is interesting that they gave you a water based color blender, since the way oil and water usually clash together. So it was interesting, like trying them out, seeing how the blending look with it. And I use my light box because, like I said, I wanted to try it out on both, but I'm not a computer, so I'm not very good at copying the same picture when hand drawing. So I did the sketch and then I just copied it onto the other one, so at least I had the same base sketch. I do the white one first, and then I kind of just pop up with the yellow one, so you don't have to watch me draw the same thing twice. The artist tips for these months were, your basic color pencil tips. Try different surfaces. Like with this, it has a texture to it, and when you draw with color pencils, you can really bring out that texture, like it picks it up, because they can't get into all the grooves and ridges unless you apply a lot of pressure. I did use my kneaded eraser to lighten the sketch, but other than that, I mostly stuck with the supplies given. I went ahead and already like labeled what color, where would I use the colors. I chose kind of like the mid-tone for her skin color and went with like the really darker one for her skin shadow. I used, here it is, the sandstone for the shadows, cause I tried out the blendings and I really like the color combination of the sandstone and the champagne and the yellow orchid. I can't read my own handwriting. I really liked how they worked together and kind of blended in more to each other, because I wasn't sure whether it was gonna go with the wheat or the champagne, and the wheat didn't really like blend into it. And I put down the color, and the blender it started picking up the paper, so I had to try not to go over the same spot too much, because it was interesting. It smoothed out the color pencil, but it didn't really blend the color pencil. It did in the sense that it would pick it up and you could like bring out the darker shades a little more further out into the lighter shades. You couldn't really tell when it picked up the lighter ones if it was moving it, but it did help with a more smooth transition between the colors. It didn't really blend them though, but it did help with the roughness. That it did do. It did smooth out the really like rough texture. Here I'm trying to like erase some of the pencil to help, because the colors are really light, and this kind of like just help get rid of some of that gray from the color pencil. But then I tried using the midnight black, which was really more of a really dark blue. It wasn't really black, but I used that and I kind of like outline where it's going to be really dark, so then I can go ahead and start erasing some lines again. Sorry. And I start with the shadows first on this one, and on the yellow paper I start with the base color, but with this one I start with the shading so that can be underneath the layers, and we can kind of compare those later. But this one was really fun. I haven't used color pencils in a while, and these were really smooth and they didn't break all that much either, so they're really good. And the tips were really nice, very basic, you know, try using a blender. I'm used to using a lighter one and like using that to kind of bring everything together, kind of like with watercolors. You kind of have that top coat that smooths all the layers you built up and kind of completes it. So I'm used to doing that kind of like a watercolor thing with my color pencils, and that I use a blending shade. And I kind of use both. I would try blending the color pencils into each other, and then I use the blender, because for a really smooth color pencil piece you need a lot of layers and patience. But I do like how this turned out. I would tap the paper to get rid of the little eraser. So I try not brushing it off, but I have to doing that anyways. The color scheme was really nice. You know, all these colors really did work together, and I didn't really do a background, but it was really fun. So try to get up and close. It came out really nice. Like, I really do like the texture that the paper offers. It did get a little bent in the box, as you saw earlier, but other than that, the paper was really nice. And then I wanted to compare the difference between the two, and when I did the second one, it came out a little smoother, and the skin color came out a lot nicer with that undertone. Because see, with here she's a little bit paler with the white paper coming through, but with the yellow tone she came out a little more darker. Well, see you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.